Hi everyone, Dr. Huff here, and I just want to cover with you in this brief video the basics of debate, and this is just a general overview to give you just a heads up of where we're going to be heading in the next 2 weeks into the next month in terms of the course syllabus. So first of all, the type of debate that I'm going to be teaching you is a version of what is known as Lincoln-Douglas debate. And this type of debate gets its names from the actual debates that happened between senatorial candidates at the time, Lincoln and Douglas, all the way back in 1858. So some specific aspects of this type of debate are that it is formalized, which means that there is structure to it. It focuses on civility, which means that we work to control our emotions. We try to focus specifically on arguments. We also, as a result, focus on facts. This is a researched style of debate, so you will be doing research for your debates. It is moderated, which means that there is somebody outside of the two individuals debating that helps the debate go along, and that will be me in this case. And we will be using a modified format specifically in this course, as we have a lot of students to get through. There's a lot of material to cover, so we will be doing a shortened version of the regular Lincoln-Douglas debate format. So the first thing that I want to talk about in terms of Lincoln-Douglas debate are the resolutions. And a resolution is simply a fancy word for the topic of the debate. Now, there are three different types of resolutions in debate. There's a resolution of fact, which really just focuses on something either is or isn't when it comes to a topic. There's a resolution of value, which has to do with something is either good or bad, something is better than or worse than something else. But what we will be focusing on for purposes of this class is what is known as a resolution of policy, which is that something should or shouldn't be done. So when we get to our practice briefs and our practice debates later on in the semester, all of the topics will be current events topics dealing with issues, problems, or legislation that is occurring in the real world right now, and you will be asked to take a side and defend it. So speaking of sides of the debate, there are two. So when I refer to the affirmative side of the debate simply agrees with or affirms what the resolution says. In contrast, the other side of the debate is the negative side, and the negative simply disagrees with or negates what the resolution says. So one of the terms you'll be hearing me refer to, and you'll have a lot of practice in by the time we get to the end of the semester, is making a debate brief. And for a debate brief, each side researches and prepares their arguments. That's simply what a brief is. Brief is just a nice simple name for the research and the arguments that each side prepares. And each side's briefs had similar responsibilities that they're going to have to work on, but there are some differences that we'll learn about. And each side will present their main arguments to the other prior to the debate. And so what that means is that whether you're on the affirmative or the negative, once you have researched your main arguments, you're actually going to share those ahead of time with the other side so they can do proper research. Lincoln-Douglas debate isn't about having aha moments or trying to trick your opponent or surprise your opponent. It really is an audience-focused style of debate. As such, that means that each side is going to know the arguments that are presented so they can go out and do research against their opponent. So the debate format, just to give a very, very brief overview, follows the following construction. So the very first speech of debate is what is called an affirmative constructive speech. And the affirmative gets 2.5 minutes to make this opening speech. And immediately after that, the negative gets to cross-examine the affirmative with a series of questions about their case, and they'll have 1 minute to do that. Then, the next major speech of the round is the negative constructive, and this is the first speech for the negative side, and they get 3 minutes, and the reason theirs is a little bit longer is that not only do they have to present their original arguments, but they also have to address the arguments that the affirmative made in their affirmative constructive speech. And when the negative is done with their constructive speech, then the affirmative gets to ask the negative a series of questions and cross-examination, also for 1 minute of time. After this, the affirmative speaker gets back up and gives what's called the affirmative rebuttal speech, and this is 1.5 minutes long. Then the negative gets to give their rebuttal speech and their final speech of 2 minutes, and the affirmative comes up one more time for what is called the affirmative summary for 1 minute. Now, if you're looking at the times here, it might seem that it's unfair that the affirmative has a third speech. But if you add up the total times, you'll note that each side has 5 minutes total for arguments and each has 1 minute for cross-examination. So whether you're affirmative or negative, you're going to have the same amount of time before your audience. So how do you learn debate? Step by step. So I'm going to be presenting this in small chunks, and as we go throughout the semester, these little puzzle pieces that I'm giving you are going to fall in place, and before you know it, you're going to be constructing an entire debate. In future modules, we're going to learn each part of the debate, starting with the affirmative constructive speech. And as we go along, you're going to see each part of the debate demonstrated by me via video. You will also receive each different part in a written sample format, so you're going to have written exemplars to go off of to create your own arguments and your own briefs as we go throughout the semester. And you'll also have ample opportunity to practice each part in speech and in writing as we move forward. In the meantime, you're going to be learning about common fallacies. You're about to start and dig into the readings on fallacies. Also, you're going to need to keep up with the discussion boards, and keep in mind you need to make sure that you have one professional outfit ready to go when we get to the graded debates. I hope everyone is doing well, and I will be talking to you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.